What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another fabulous episode of What You Wish You Knew about HBCUs, the podcast where we dive deep into the rich history, the vibrant culture, and groundbreaking achievements of historically black colleges and universities. I'm your host, Kareem Penn, and I'm joined by my co host,
Anthony Bond, and of course I'm representing Collegiate Lux with my shirt. I got to make sure I show it off each time. HBCU, check them out. Check them out.
Collegiate Lux.
That's right. That's right. HBCU graduate owned and operated.
That's what's up. CIAA coming up soon. So all you coming out here to Baltimore to catch the CIAA, make sure you check out Collegiate Lux in the Inner Harbor in Baltimore.
Yeah. You can come on down, but we already know who's going to win CIAA. But, we're going to keep that a secret.
We keep that one under wraps. Yeah.
All right. So, today, we're excited to be here. We're bringing you the spotlight of a major institution. This institution embodies excellence, leadership, innovation. And that institution is Clark Atlanta University, affectionately known as CAU.
What? You can see the CAU. Home of the Panthers, Clark Atlanta.
At least he didn't show you a shit. See, I knew he was going to do it.
There it is, the bread fours.
So what you going to do when we have one? You don't have the sneakers to match. You just going to...
I won't show them. I don't know. I may have to go to the store and get a pair at that particular point in time.
Hey, listen. I got to get my money up. So I can show off my sneakers on the podcast.
I'm trying to reach that generation, those students who are out there that like all of this stuff. Like, you go to Clark Atlanta, you can get a pair of bread fours to match it, right? Or whatever school you go to, you get the shoes to go with it, right? I'm trying to reach back.
So that means if you out there, write in, send a personal message, because somebody sounds like they about to get sneakers for all the students. So just write in.
Well, we ain't doing that.
All right, so of course, it's Clark Atlanta University. A situation in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, A-Town Shorting. Clark Atlanta University has a storied past and just a bright future. And, we are going to jump right in. But before we jump right in, we are going to just spotlight just overall information about HBCUs, because, HBCUs are, they're the bread and butter of this country, particularly for us. All right, so HBCUs were founded primarily in the 19th and early 20th century to provide higher education opportunities for African Americans when segregation and discrimination limited their access to other institutions. These schools have a deep and rich history of fostering academic excellence, leadership, and cultural pride within the black community. Any HBCU that you go to, they always have a community connection. That's what HBCUs are built on.
Connection. Like that HBCU family, right? HBCU love is part of that. And with that comes great cultural enrichment. So when you think about HBCUs, right, we want to talk about how HBCUs celebrate and promote the African American culture, its heritage. And they do this through, various events, through organizations and activities. The cultural enrichment can provide a unique and empowering experience for all students who attend.
I mean, you got the cultural enrichment, but then, you also have the research and innovation. HBCUs are often at the forefront of research and innovation, despite sometimes limited resources. That's the key. HBCUs have accomplished many great things with, sometimes having maybe a third of the budget for research. A third of the budget of research, a third of the endowments that some of these, large, powerful institutions have. But, HBCUs are right there.
Right.
They're innovating. They're patenting different things. They're getting, research published, and, they're doing a lot of amazing things on a shoestring budget sometimes.
Right.
These institutions have contributed to groundbreaking discoveries and advancements across multiple fields. Engineering, the medical field. Of course, education, which is the bread and butter of many of, especially the earlier HBCUs. That's where the doctors came from. But we know the HBCUs produce the more black engineers and lawyers, dentists, doctors. We know that,
Right.
and that's what we're trying to get you all to understand.
Yeah. So that is just it just speaks to some of the contributions that HBCUs have made to this country and to society, significantly to the nation's higher education landscape and overall advancement of society. Their commitment to diversity, inclusivity, and academic excellence has a positive impact that extends beyond the campus themselves or the campuses themselves. So in thinking about that, right? The contributions. So, this past Saturday, I had an opportunity to attend the Wizards basketball game. It was HBCU and Divine Nine. And I know you know about the Divine
We
Nine.
already know who was there. We already know. It was kind of cold. It was actually ice cold. We already know.
Which is right because they actually started off first, and
Of course.
at halftime, all of the Divine Nine had an opportunity to perform, and the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated did kick off the show at halftime. But thinking about how we got to that point, right? And this is the second time that I attended the HBCU night at the Washington Wizards, but going from when HBCUs were established and then all the things that they had to go through, and we talk about the contributions to where, last night they were on full display in an arena in the middle of Washington, D.C. Not only capturing that moment with the Divine Nine, but we talked about family, HBCU family, walking around that arena and seeing people who had our university on the paraphernalia for our university, plus many others, right? So instant connection with people that went to the same school we went to, but then looking at all the other HBCUs and the people that represented their HBCU, it was just it's like a fraternity and sorority of HBCU, right? So if we had to coin a phrase, it'd be like hashtag HBCU fraternity sorority, right?
Mhm.
Because it's this instant family and culture that you connect with, right?
Mhm.
We may talk about another HBCU when we're amongst HBCUs, and they do that all the time, like Howard Hampton, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Virginia State, Norfolk State. Do know Norfolk State is little state, Virginia State is
Of
big
course.
state, right?
No,
But
they know who Daddy is.
right, we talk about those things, but when we see each other and we're amongst each other, it is just that instant HBCU love, and you're again part of a fraternity and a sorority at that particular point in time.
hmm I mean, definitely, definitely. I mean, if you've been to one HBCU, you've been to them all. They're very similar. The biggest thing is just the relationships that you build.
Right.
The love that you feel from your professors. Professors actually knowing your name.
Yep.
Professors actually you know that also attended HBCUs themselves. A
Yes.
lot of HBCUs. They keep the family close.
Right.
A lot of people who work at those institutions went to those institutions.
Correct.
And so that's how you kind of just continue the connections. They kind of just, keep going on. I mean, it's just something about going to a HBCU, you know, going to homecoming, seeing somebody in the mall, like, hey, you went to it. And it's like
Instant.
instantly you know this person,
Yes.
although you really just met them.
Right.
But that's what, HBCU culture is.
Correct.
It's connection, it's family.
It's again, it's like none other. It's like when you see that person, you're like, that's my long lost cousin, right? Like I've never met this person, but I know they went to HBCU, and their experience is similar to what my experience was when I went to my HBCU.
Oh yeah, yeah, of
You know,
course, of
so
course, of course.
yep. So sit back, relax. We're about to dive into Clark Atlanta University. back, everybody. And we talked about the historical foundations of HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. And today was shining that spotlight on Clark Atlanta University, CAU, home of the Panthers.
You ain't gonna show us your shoes again?
I did that already, and Jordan doesn't pay me anything to keep advertising his shoes, right? If he did, I will show them off. But I give it to you one more time. There it is. All right. So, and how Clark Atlanta fits into that historical realm of HBCUs. So, Clark Atlanta University was formed out of a merger of two historic institutions. Atlanta University in 1865, and then Clark College in 1869. So in 1988, 36 years ago, this merger took place, forming Clark Atlanta University. Um, Atlanta University, which was established again in 1865 by the American Missionary Association, was the nation's first institution to award graduate degrees for African Americans. Okay. Clark College was the first in the country to educate a mostly black student body. The college was named for Bishop Davis Clark, the first president of the Freedmen's the first president of the Freedmen's Aid Society of the Methodist Episcopal Church. So here you have these two, and do know Clark Atlanta University is a private institution, and their basis is coming out of, missionary work with Atlanta University, and then the Methodist Church um, with Clark College, Clark College. Um, the first undergraduates entered in 1902, and women were the first enrolled in 1942.
Wow, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, thinking about where Clark is now after that merger in 1988, it created a comprehensive private historically black college and university dedicated to nurturing the intellectual growth and spirit of service. Clark Atlanta University is also the largest of the 37 member of the UNCF institutions. What is like United Negro College Fund?
Of course.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
yes, and they just got awarded $100 million, and actually, Clark, and we'll get to that a little bit, but Clark is playing a role in that as well, and we'll talk about that as we go forward.
I mean, and that's one thing that you want to, I don't mean to just jump in, but that's
Nah,
one thing that you might want to think about when you're applying to an HBCU. The UNCF is connected to 37 different colleges. Now, they do give out hundreds of millions of dollars, but if you want to access that money, you have to make sure that you're applying or planning to attend one of those 37 schools. So, I found that out personally when, my son was not attending one of those 37 schools. And I'm like, all right, we're going to get all this money. But, so you got to make sure. So
right,
do your research. Make sure that you're going to one of those 37 schools.
right,
All right.
and we'll drop what 37 schools are in the description below, so you'll have an idea of that, right? But Clark Atlanta University is, so if you know anything about the Atlanta area and historically black colleges and universities in that area, there 4 universities make up that area. And Clark is the largest out of the 4. So you have Clark Atlanta University, you have Morehouse, you have Spelman, and you have Morris Brown, right? Um, as well as Morehouse School of Medicine, but I combine that with Morehouse. But Clark is the largest out of them all. So thinking about that, just to touch on the vision of Clark Atlanta University. Clark Atlanta University will be recognized internationally as a leading research institution of higher education and learning. The university will impact society through global innovation, transformative educational experiences, and high value engagement. So there is this idea that started with two institutions. They decided to merge together, and what you get is this historically black college and university that wants to be the leader and cutting edge leader when it comes to research and innovation.
I mean, that's amazing. That just particularly that you have, going back to what you said earlier, that you have 4 HBCUs in the same area. I mean, I've personally walked down that street before. I don't think I would have graduated if I went down there, because you're talking about 4 different types of distractions.
Right.
You got Morehouse, then you got Spelman, which is all girls, then you have Clark Atlanta, then you have Morris Brown, and then you just have the city of Atlanta itself.
Right.
It's the southern black mecca for all kinds of different things.
Yep.
And so, I mean, just the fact that you have this greatness there. I mean, and really, if you're a student and you're attending one of these schools, the city of Atlanta is a major hub of African American power in this country.
Right.
And so, just being able to go there and being able to access all the different resources and the internships and all these different things. I mean, come on, like Tyler Perry is there.
Right.
Like Tyler Perry is there. So many of the other major, black companies are in Atlanta.
Right.
So, you have these 4 schools on the same street. You have all of this going on. You have the, just the synergy coming from all the different schools together. I mean, it definitely makes Clark Atlanta an amazing place.
Yeah, it is. And the crazy part about it is I just talked to one of my former students who goes to Morehouse, and he was just telling me, like, when I look out my dorm at Morehouse, I can just see everything like on Clark's campus, right? So to be that close to that. Funny thing, I was watching Drumline the other day. Yeah. And Morris Brown's band was in it, and so was Clark Atlanta's band. And it just like took me back to the days when we were at our HBCU.
Man, I couldn't go to sleep because the band was practicing right outside of my dorm until midnight, over and over and over again.
The beauty of an HBCU band, like just all that comes with that. But in watching that movie, right, and having a multitude of historically black colleges and universities be in that movie and being recognized for their accomplishment, and we in the band, but it brought that highlight and exposure to those universities, because I know there were a number of people, once that movie was over, went ahead and started researching what bands were in it, where those schools were, and probably those schools got an uptick in some enrollment after that movie.
I mean, I'm sure that movie probably, of course, we know our movie,
right,
which was School Days.
School
Days came out, and listen, all I knew was, yeah, Mike. Like, that's just all I wanted to do. Roof.
Greetings.
Greetings, big brother almighty. Listen, I didn't know anything about Greek life. I didn't really know anything. Right. I had never seen it. I mean, I heard about it because my father and my parents went to HBCUs, but being able to have that movie at my disposal and just watch it over and over and over again, and then being from Virginia, and I could go to Norfolk State, and I could walk around, I could look around. I don't know about you, but I know when I first got to the college that we attended,
right,
I saw a lot of different similarities.
Yes.
Combined with that, then of course that was followed up quickly right behind by A Different World.
Yes.
And the new generation, Drumline was it.
Right.
And, and it really definitely, it was like a advertisement for HBCU life.
Yes. So the funny thing is, I'm from New York, so there are no HBCUs in New York. So my frame of reference was School Days and Different World. And when I was researching, universities, I thought Hillman College was an actual HBCU. Right?
So did I.
I was like, I can't find it in this book. And so do know, like, there was no internet back then. So I don't know about you. You had Norfolk State. You had your parents. I had no one. Right. This high school I went to, we had a college advisor. Her sole job was to help seniors with all the college stuff. So she had this magazine. She said, "Here you go." I looked at it. It had a whole bunch of HBCUs in it, and then you had to call and request the information or
Yeah.
write them a letter to get
You
the
had to get the packet.
right. So as I'm going through this magazine, I'm like, "Where's Hillman? I don't see Hillman." Right, and all of you who are out there who are judging me right now, I know some of you did it also. Like you thought Hillman was real. You thought, when Whitley would talk about Richmond, Virginia, and her dad, you thought, "Oh, this got to be a real school," right? No, but that was my frame of reference, and like Ann said, just like Drumline was the frame of reference for the generation that movie was made in to bring attention and exposure to HBCUs.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun times. So and I know like just to touch a little bit back on, we were talking about school days and a different world.
Mm-hmm.
School days. You shared with me that you thought school days in Mission College was
Yeah,
real.
listen, I thought it was real. It looked real. Just like you thinking Hillman was real.
Right.
I thought Mission College was real. I didn't realize that, and the crazy thing is, I was living in Atlanta during that time and still thought Mission College was real. I was living there and I'm like, that looks like Morehouse, but I
Right.
guess that's probably Mission College. And, I just assumed that, I was going to go up and, attend Mission College, but listen, it wasn't real, unfortunately.
Right.
But, my college was real and I was able to kind of take advantage of that.
Yes.
So,
yes, it's good. So, and we talked about the history of Clark Atlanta University. For a future student, tell me like how do we go about the process of getting into Clark Atlanta University?
I mean, when you talk about Clark Atlanta University, it's an amazing group of people that really, really make up the school. I mean, so the school has a total enrollment of a little under 5,000 students. It has about 3,459 of them are undergraduate students. Another 640 of them are, graduate students. The students come from all over. Students from Georgia constitute about 33% of the total enrollment. 66% of the students come from out of state. 1% represent places such as the Middle East. In total, they have students from 10 different foreign countries.
Okay.
Female students constitute 76% of the total enrollment, while male students comprise 24%. Now, listen, we're going to keep it real. The ratio, if you're looking, for maybe, they always talk about couple goals and all that stuff.
Right.
And the numbers don't lie. I know for me, when I touched down and I knew it was 16-1 at my institution, I'm like, listen, I'm going to try 16 times. If I get shut down 16 times, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'll just go to the calf.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just go to the calf, get some ice cream or something like that. Because 16 times, I don't even know what I'm even doing here.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, so you have almost 4,000 people, plus you're in the, city of Atlanta. So, when we talk about the admissions process, the admissions process is designed to not just evaluate your academic achievements, but to also look at your potential to contribute to the CAU community. Oftentimes students get caught up in grades. It's more than that.
Right.
It's not just grades. It's, have you done community service?
Right.
Have you supported your school community?
Right.
Have you led anything positive? Have you done anything such as food drives or volunteered anywhere? So when you're applying to CAU, they look at all of those things. They want you to be more than just a student. They want you to kind of have more of a well-rounded portfolio, should I might say. They offer undergraduate, they offer graduate, professional, certificated programs, and you can find all of that on their website, cau.edu. So, as an undergraduate, first year students, there's an important update. Any students that are going to be entering fall 2024 and fall 2025, CAU will continue a test optional policy. So what does that mean? That means that there are some that, well, when we say test optional, we're talking about the SAT and ACT. Now, when we say optional, that means that there's not a firm list of a score requirement. Now, don't get it twisted though, because a lot of the scholarships and different programs that are offered at this school, they do take those scores into account when they're looking at who they're going to let in.
Right.
This doesn't mean, I just don't have to take the SAT.
Right.
That's not exactly what that's saying. Because to get in some of the upper level things, such as, things like honors dorms and, honors programs, they would like to see that you have taken the SAT. And remember, SAT and all these different things that we talked about, community service, all these things separate you from the pack of all the other students. I mean, you just heard me say that they take in students from 10 different countries. So when you're trying to compete to get into the school, you're competing with people from all over the place. So, when we're talking about test scores, students are not required to submit standardized test scores. And, students may be negatively impacted by their scores will automatically be considered test optional. So that means if you submit your scores and your scores are low, then you'll be test optional. But if you submit your scores and your scores are high, that means that that's only going to help you in this process.
Right.
They practice a holistic admission review policy, which considers the applicant's secondary school academic record, standardized college entrance exams, if available, of course, SAT and ACT, leadership in your school, community activities, unique talents and skills, and educational objectives. One thing that I want to make sure that is when you're doing these different things in high school, make sure you have documentation.
Right.
If you're volunteering somewhere, find the person that's running that activity and have them, it can just be their contact information. So when you put their name on the application, that someone can verify that, yeah, this person, they were at that food drive.
And that's it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But it's important, all right, especially at that community service piece, and how you serve other people, right? What are you willing to do to help others? And that goes a long way. And when you're talking about a university like Clark Atlanta, where their whole idea of like this transformative way of educating and helping one another, like community service is a big part of that. You out in the community servicing and meeting the needs of the community. Why wouldn't a university want to bring you in to help foster that on campus, but then send you back out into the world better equipped to do more community service?
Hey, listen, community service is that should be the lifeblood of your application. So if you are a first year student and you're sincerely interested in Clark Atlanta University, for fall admission, you should apply between August and October of your senior year. The application is non-binding early action application period. Students interested in receiving merit scholarships, again, should also apply between, say it with me, August and October. Do not wait, because there's a lot of people that want to attend Clark Atlanta University, and what you don't want is to be left out because you missed a date. So, your amazing application kind of just gets set off to the side.
Right.
Other than early action, there's a couple different deadlines. So the early action non-binding deadline is November 1st. Students will be notified via email by January 1st. The final deadline for first year students is April 15th. Again, students are going to be notified via a email on a rolling weekly basis. Transfer student deadline for the fall is June 1st. So if you're currently not attending Atlanta University and you would like to, you have to get your transfer application in by June 1st. Applicants interested in spring enrollment must submit completed application, including supporting documents, by November 1st. Now, notice, this is a lot that's tying into this. But remember, you might want to create a checklist with all these deadlines on it. Start collecting your materials, particularly if you need recommendations from teachers or other staff members, because you want to make sure that you give them a heads up. And I personally say give them a fake deadline, because as a teacher, I've had students run into my office and, Mr. Bond, I need this right now. Give me a fake deadline.
Right.
Because I'm going to put the pressure on myself and not knowing that I'm 2 weeks ahead of the actual deadline.
Right.
So, I mean, all of those things, and of course, there is financial aid there that also has additional deadlines. So you definitely want to just, make yourself, informed in all of those different things.
The academic portion of Clark Atlanta University, gave you all a lot of information. We'll drop a lot of that stuff in the description below. But want to just talk about like the mission of Clark Atlanta University, and who's at the helm of all of this, right? So governance at Clark Atlanta University is rooted in a commitment to accountability and excellence. The university is led by President Dr. George French Jr., and it's overseen by a board of trustees. I believe it's 34 members on the board, in the provost. It is structured to ensure that every decision advances their mission to deliver transformative education for its students. So their overall mission is cultivating the lifted lives that will transform the world.
Wow, that's amazing. Cultivating lifted lives. Wow.
Yeah. Lifted lives, right?
That,
so you think about how that plays into transforming the world. Again, research, innovative, STEM focus at this particular university, just trying to find ways to be innovative and finding ways to transform how the world is functioning today, I think is an excellent approach. And again, Dr. George T. French Jr. at the helm, leading that mission for Clark Atlanta.
mm-hmm.
Wow. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. But when you think about transforming the world and being that transformative school, how do we get there? Like, what does Clark Atlanta University offer its students to be part of that? We touched on STEM a little bit, but what are some other things, academic, that Clark offers its students to help lead that transformative world?
Well, I mean, the thing about leading, is it always starts in the classroom. It always starts in the classroom with the innovation. Academics is really, really important at Clark Atlanta. A lot of people don't realize that when you attend one of these 4 HBCUs, that you sometimes may even be taking classes on different campuses. You have access to the libraries and different academic buildings of the other schools, such as Morehouse, such as Spelman, such as Morris Brown. but the academics is what drives everything. Academically, CAU stands out, for its diverse programs, from the arts to the sciences to the businesses and education to the university is dedicated to empowering their students through knowledge. They boast an environment that encourages research, creativity, and critical thinking. Um, there's the School of the Arts and Sciences. There's the School of Business.
Hmm.
There's the School of Education.
Outfield.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's right. There's the Whitney M. Young Jr. School of Social Work. It alone, just fosters excellence, innovation in education and research. The Whitney M. Young Jr. School of Social Work. We need more social work.
We do.
Social workers and educators, we get the lowest salaries, but, to me, those are two of the most important jobs. Not just saying that because I am an educator, but, those jobs take care of people.
Correct.
They take care of people, particularly young people, and try to set them on, a path towards success. Many people have gone through, things like, the I guess I would say CPS system, the foster care system. All
Right.
of those things are connected to social work and education. So just my little soapbox moment for education. Teachers, I'm there with you. It is Sunday. I do have to go to work tomorrow. I might watch the Super Bowl, but if I watch the Super Bowl, that means I'm not going to be at work at my desk at 7:10 tomorrow morning. But listen,
Well, that's good because you don't have to be to work until like 7:50 anyway.
listen. I'm an overachiever. At 7:10, I'm there. I gotta change my sweater like Mr. Rogers. I change my sweater and shoes when I get to
Get
work.
your shoes. Yeah, that's fine. But I just want to touch on the piece where you talk about like social workers and teachers. They can have the greatest impact on young lives, right? Students spend most of their time with you, right? 8 hours in school with teachers, right? And then you add that social work piece. Tremendous impact, right? Positive impact. And as you said, steering them in the right direction. So I'm sorry, I didn't.
Hey, listen, it's all good. You jump in when you need to. There's just a variety of different things that you can do. One thing that I kind of jumped around on my notes a little bit is that I really want to focus on the offerings of the College of Arts and Sciences. That's these majors in this college are like some amazing things. So the College of Arts and Sciences encompasses African American Studies, fashion, biology, chemistry, physics, cyber physical systems. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like they're making a lot of money.
It does sound like they're making a lot of money.
English and foreign languages, humanities, mass media arts. That's if you want to do mass media arts, Atlanta is one of the major places where films are made now.
Right.
You can't watch a show without seeing, that peach at the end of it. And then, of course, you have Tyler Perry Studios, which, is an amazing place, particularly if you are a person that wants to work in the media.
Right.
There's mathematics. There's music. There's political science. There's psychology. There's public administration. There's religion, philosophy, sociology, criminal justice, theater and communication studies. In addition, there's an actual TV station on campus.
That's awesome.
CAU TV.
Yes, because I was just reading about, they have this program, CAU Today.
Yeah.
Right. And when we talked about the United Negro College Fund and the $100 million endowment, they actually hosted, and that announcement was made on the campus of Clark Atlanta University and broadcasted through their, CAU Today.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So sorry.
It's just an amazing undergrad, opportunities. But if you are a graduate student, there's also a very active graduate school program. As a matter of fact, if you're interested, what I just learned recently is that the Clark Atlanta University Office of Graduate Admissions and Recruitment is going to start on February 1st, 2024, a virtual open house session via Zoom. You're going to be able to meet the deans. You're going to be able to meet the department chairs for each of the 4 schools. You're going to learn more about post baccalaureate masters, doctoral programs, funding, fellowships, scholarships, and just a bunch of amazing opportunities. We'll place the link into the what is this? Not the chat. What are we
D-
putting the links into?
description.
The link will be in the description. But that's an
Mm.
amazing opportunity. Learn about these graduate programs right from your couch.
Yes, that again, as we talk about access and opportunity, that's my mission and vision. Like, you have access and opportunity that we didn't have access and opportunity. I
No.
told you in the beginning, we thought Mission and Hillman were real colleges, and we had to look through magazines to find that stuff out.
Listen, I thought Whitley was gonna be there. Okay.
He thought Whitley was going to
Yeah.
be there. Yeah, coming from New York, I thought I was going to see Dwayne Wayne.
Well, we did see Dwayne.
We did. Shout out to D Brown.
Dwayne Brown.
Dwayne Brown. But the funny thing is, like, during that time, like, Dwayne Wayne's flip glasses became a fashion statement, right?
Definitely.
They were selling them on the streets in New York. You can go get your flip up glasses. It has had a tremendous impact, right, on the culture and on the lives of Black people during that time. And then, like, with school days, those varsity jackets that came out with Gamma Phi Gamma on there with half pint,
Oh yeah.
that became part of the fashion also, and people started wearing the varsity jackets, right? So HBCUs, even though those were two, like, universe fictitious,
fictional,
yes,
yeah.
right, fictional universities, they had a tremendous impact on the African American community at that particular point in time. So yeah. I don't know about you, but I grew up in the projects in New York. I needed a way out. I thought going to college was going to help me. Like, education is the key, right? And I do the right thing. I get my education, I get my degrees, I get all that other stuff. I wasn't fortunate enough to have tons of money to pay for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, because I decided to do something to better myself, to have opportunities for my family and all that other stuff, like, I get hit in the head with student loans. But part of it is my fault because I probably should have did more in school.
Man, listen.
However,
Applebee's Rib Night got a lot of my financial aid. I'm not even gonna lie. Applebee's Rib Night got a lot of my financial aid. Along with things like Kings Dominion College Day. You know, along with you know those trips to random colleges. So I definitely could have been a little bit more responsible and not have had such a heavy burden of financial aid. But the cool thing about it is that even though Clark Atlanta, it has a total cost of about $27,651. Depending on your housing or depending on your meal plan. Now meal plans have gotten so creative now. Like my son, he has a meal plan where he's not allowed to eat in the cafeteria on weekends,
mm-hmm.
but he gets like multiple meals during the week. So I mean, he's cool with that. So that meal plan was a little bit cheaper. He could have had the full 7-day meal plan.
Right.
And Clark Atlanta has a lot of different meal plans like that also. They have some that are, lunch and dinner. Some that, are breakfast. Some that of course are the full 7-day. Some where you get a certain number of swipes and once you're finished, it's over. But the housing and meal plan, all those different things kind of tie into, the cost of it.
Right.
I mean, the one thing that I love about Clark Atlanta University, though, is the fact that there are multiple ways to get free money. There's actually about 7 different ways to get free money there.
Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned that. Like, just thinking about the institutional scholarship for first year students. Like, first year students are automatically considered for merit based scholarships when submitting applications to the Office of Admissions. right? So merit scholarships are competitive, and students must have a minimum of a 3.2 GPA and 1100 SAT or 22 on their ACT score to qualify.
It's that SAT. So guess what? Test optional is cool. I don't have to take the test, but guess what? To get access to certain things like this merit based scholarship that Kareem was just telling you about, you do have to have an 1100.
Right. And that's the minimum. And the minimum doesn't guarantee that you're going to actually get the scholarship. So, the higher you can score, the higher your GPA, the better your chances. There's also the undergrad studies scholarship available to continuing sophomores and juniors and seniors who have not exceeded 8 semesters at Clark Atlanta University. Um, Cumulative GPA of 3.25 or higher um, as a qualifying factor. Um, then you have the student freedom agreement. I don't know why I said freedom. So
Thinking about Morgan Freeman.
maybe
We ain't driving Miss Daisy around here though. No.
I came to drive you to the store. um, oh my god. Student freedom agreement. There it was again, Morgan Freeman. Right, but this is an initiative. It's a nonprofit organizational dedicated to ensuring freedom in professional and life choices for students attending historically Black colleges and universities like Clark. So the idea of this program is the program offers on income contingent funding alternative, known as again the Student Freedom Agreement. So essentially, what it is that you can apply for this particular program, which is available to rising juniors and seniors majoring in the STEM field, as well as educational and career support resources. Um, the idea of this is as you apply, and if you are able to take advantage of this, you have a commitment that after you graduate, that the money that you're going to earn based on your income, they will calculate how much money you are going to pay back. But you're not paying back to one of these, Sally Mae. You're not paying back to Mohila. You're not paying back to any of those, right? Loan programs.
Killing me right now. You're killing me. Like
you're actually paying
just
back.
Don't say direct loans.
Direct loans.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So none of those, right? You are actually paying back into this program. And it's a 20-year commitment, but the money that you pay back goes back into this program so that other students like you, if you took advantage of it, can take advantage of this as well. And if you're interested in that, we'll drop all of that in the link as well. Again, but the key factors, right? An income contingency funding alternative, right? So it's sort of like a loan, but not a loan in the traditional sense. Okay. But again, we'll drop the link in that for that. But you also have the sibling discount. All right. You have the minstrel discount. Right. Remember that Clark Atlanta University started at Atlanta University and Clark College, both like faith-based, so they have a discount for that. Naval ROTC, scholarships for art history majors, and the State of Georgia Hope Scholarship. So those are the different ways that Clark Atlanta is providing financial aid in the sense of free money, right?
Free.
Outside of the student freedom agreement. But for the most part, here's an opportunity for if you apply to Clark and you're lucky to get in, there are a multitude of ways that you can help offset the costs. And if you are going to do financial aid, work study is probably one of those ways that, you can get some money. But we want to steer you in that direction.
Free money.
Yeah, free money direction. Free money. Right? So, of course, hashtag free money. man. So we talked about the academic portion, missions, financial aid, tuition, all those. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest, uh, parts of attending any college or university, and especially in HBCU, is the athletics. And woven into that athletics on an HBCU campus is the band, right?
You already know.
Already know. So
Get
the
your
band,
popcorn ready.
popcorn ready, halftime shows at the football games, the band. But for those who are sports enthusiasts or looking to play at the next level, a few things out there that you should know. Clark Atlanta University competes in the NCAA Division II as part of the Southern Intercollegiate um, Athletic Conference. So they offer a variety of sports, everything from baseball, basketball, both men's and women's, cross country, both men's and women's, football, softball, track and field, volleyball, and your favorite,
That's right.
tennis.
Tennis.
Yeah,
Let me get my serve right. Snap, snap the wrist. You always got to snap the wrist. Shout
correct.
out to Coach Clinton Turner. That
Cor-
was my coach.
That was your. You
That's
did
right.
play tennis at
That's right.
at our U at our HBCU, right? That's what you did. I remember that. So
I
right
mean,
now,
right now, did you realize that you're looking at the freshman rookie of the year for the tennis team?
hats
Listen,
off to you. But I think the other part, I like that cardigan that you had. Was it a warm up jacket that you got playing
oh come
tennis?
on, that's a throwback, man. That's a throwback.
I think.
I think I was actually supposed to turn that back in.
Oh well, what they don't know,
Hey,
uh,
they don't know.
they don't know. So right now they're in the heart of basketball season. The boy men's basketball team is on a roll, winning their 12th straight, beating Savannah State University.
Wow, 12 in
Um,
a row. That's domination right there.
yeah. So as they gear up for their conference tournament, which I believe starts in March in Savannah, Georgia. So, but just thinking about all the different sports that they offer and that you all can attempt to be part of, whether it is through the walk on process or scholarships for any of those sports that you play, or just being a fan of the sports. But I think one of the biggest things is, as Clark Atlanta is part of that conference, the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, being part of that has opened so many more doors for schools like Clark Atlanta University. That conference has partnered with the NFL to celebrate HBCU history,
Mm,
to increase opportunities and programs and initiatives to celebrate their players, and create opportunities for students and athletic administrators from HBCUs, but also to provide access to career forums, workshops, internships, and other opportunities. Equip HBCU students, players, and coaches with access to programs to develop skills needed to work or play in professional football. I do also know that they have partnered with the NBA on an initiative basis as well. So, there are, and again, I talk about opportunities and access as my mission and vision. And here, looking at professional sports finding their way into historically black colleges and universities, I feel like is just the beginning, right?
mm-hmm.
Where or how much further can we go as an HBCU family to have an impact and gain opportunity and access to the rest of the world and society. So, shout out and hats off to the NFL and the NBA for partnering with HBCUs. Again, the Washington Wizards this past Saturday, HBCU night. I know the Washington Commanders had an HBCU day
Mm-hmm.
during the football season, and so did the
The
Baltimore
O's.
Orioles.
That's
Yes,
right.
right.
Oreo.
So we're finding our way into um, into the professional sports arena. and being recognized for all those things. So
Right.
again, but if you're interested in any of those sports, we'll drop the link to Park Atlanta University's athletic site, where you can find the rosters for
Schedules.
schedules, right?
You can check them out, and they come close to your city.
Yes, right. So think about that when you look at the schedule. Check out the boys' basketball team, women's basketball team, men's basketball team, women's basketball team when they're in your area. Same thing with football, and find out when homecoming is on that schedule, and you may want to check out a homecoming game, right? Um,
Homecoming.
Homecoming. Um, but just thinking about that, right? And if you can't get a scholarship and you're a walk on, right? Work your way to getting that scholarship. But do know, start looking at if this is something that you're interested in. Get with your guidance counselor in schools. Make sure that you are, um, filling out the NCAA eligibility, right? Making sure that you have followed those steps, uploading your transcripts, uploading your SAT scores, ACT scores, all those things, because you want to be a qualifier, right? And you want to make sure that when they offer you that scholarship, that you are able to take it. Okay, so just be mindful of that, right?
Definitely, definitely. What you don't want to do is have your clearinghouse, situation hold you up,
Right.
because that clearinghouse is serious.
Yes.
You may be good, but you might not be LeBron James. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
All right.
yet.
So clearing house, make sure again, get with your guidance counselor, get with your coaches. Make sure that you are in a good place when it comes to that. I unfortunately had to deal with a student who, thought they were good and turned out, nah, it didn't happen. And we had to find some alternative measures, right? So make sure the courses that you are taking and enrolled in high school, that they're going to meet that clearinghouse. They're going to meet NCAA requirements, right? And you don't want to be left behind when it comes to anything like that. So, yeah,
Atlanta is known to be at the forefront of research and innovation with just so many different initiatives that address global challenges. There's a lot of money that's out there that can come to your university for tackling things such as um, the energy crisis. Our dependency on fossil fuels. If your university can come up with some ideas that can kind of reduce that, you know, clean water, all these different things. And Clark Atlanta has a variety of different programs that focuses on you know some of those things. Um, in addition to that, some of of course, some of the things that they're working on aren't just you know techie types of things. You have the justice issues.
right,
Fixing some of those issues, things which also affects me is the disease of cancer. I lost my mom to cancer in 2014, and Clark Atlanta has a cancer research and therapeutic development center.
mm,
They were recently awarded $5.6 million grant from the National Institute of Health, National Center on Minority Health and Health Disparities, the NCMHD, for a 5-year period. So they're going to get about a little over $1 million a year to do additional research on things, because we know like certain types of cancers, certain types of blood illnesses, those things tackle people of color. I wouldn't say tackle, but people of color suffer from those things more frequently, more
right,
often.
right,
So I mean, Clark Atlanta is at the forefront of that type of research. They're looking at using some of that award money to actually focus on prostate cancer.
oh,
You know, prostate cancer research, education, colon cancer, which of course we know, that was one thing that kind of came to life after. Well, I would say came to light after the loss of Chadwick Boseman, but men of color, suffer from those types of ailments a lot more frequently than all other groups.
right. Don't forget diabetes.
Hey, listen, diabetes, high blood pressure,
Yeah,
back in
yeah,
the day, we all had the grandmother with the swollen ankles and the tam,
yeah.
but her greens were banging. Her greens were banging. But we as a people, we got to work on some different seasons. That's a whole
Right.
another conversation. But these are things that that they're tackling. These are things that they're tackling with their innovation. There's a Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurial Development, which is committed to fostering the entrepreneurial, innovative spirit across the CAU campus.
Right.
By strengthening the I&E ecosystem, the students gain the skills. Some of the things that they focus on. They focus on startup workshops. Oops, losing my earbud here. They focus on startup workshops. Mentoring for startup ideas, 3D printing and prototyping, hackathons,
Mm,
drone flight training.
I like drones.
Listen,
I have one.
hey, I want to be like you. I mean, this guy has everything. He got the sneakers. He got the drones. What do I have?
You have a son who's in college getting a 3.85 GPA.
That's right. Shout
Yeah.
out to Big Z.
Who just met with the Secretary of Education.
Listen,
Am I
he's
correct?
doing big things.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Bond 2.0.
Yeah.
The new and improved Mr. Bond.
You also have your brothers of the Alpha Phi Alpha
Hey,
Fraternity
listen, come
Incorporated.
on, man. We ice cold, ice cold. You know what I mean? So listen. Anyway, let me get back. So drone flight training, which Kareem is an expert in flying drones. If you
Yeah.
watched our previous video and you saw the Bowie State footage, that came from his personal drone. He probably built it from scratch. I don't know.
No, I'm not that talented. Not
All right,
that
they have options. Stock, crypto trading, pitch competitions that win cash prizes, student incubator ideas. Just think tanks, figuring out things that students can do. There's fellowships, there's stipends, and what really sticks out to me, which I definitely know that I was born too early, is they focus on gaming and esports. The amount of times that my mother told me what were those video games going to do for me.
Now look at it.
Look, Ma, I could have been famous. That Nintendo was going to take me places.
Esports, baby.
Listen, there's all kinds of different things. You have innovation, you have, pitch, you have drones. One other thing, the last thing that kind of stands out to mind is, the Thomas W. Deutsch Jr. Institute for Leadership, Civic Engagement, Economic Empowerment, and Social Justice Institute, the inaugural Hope and Justice Fellowship. This is a program that focuses on expanding and strengthening the work of the the work of the NBCP, the South and nationwide, was focused on leadership development, civic education, voting rights, racism, gender, economic justice, empowerment. The Hope and Justice program is basically beyond the stars. So you have so many different things that are available at Clark Atlanta University. You have academics, but you also have these things also.
That's awesome, man. Like, just again, talking about that research, innovation, where they're putting their resources in and what they're trying to discover to be that transformative school and that transformative education. Um, the research on cancer and trying to find cures for that, and diabetes, and all the things that really plague the African American community. Having a school that is dedicated to doing those things and finding solutions to those
Mhm.
problems. So, Ant, I want to dive into what is life like on the campus of Clark Atlanta University and what it has to offer for all its students. When you think about, we touched about students who are coming from different parts of the world, different parts of the
Mhm.
country, finding their place, finding their way. What or how does the university make them feel like they're at home, and what are they offering as part of that community life? So I do know, Clark Atlanta, vibrant and full of opportunities for personal growth.
Mhm.
With over 80 student organizations, including Greek Life,
Of
again,
course.
which you're a member of.
You
He slid that in real
know.
quick. Uh, Academic clubs and cultural groups, right? So just trying to find, something for everyone and providing opportunities for everyone. I think Clark does a great job. They do a great job in events and traditions, right? Igniting your spirit and immerse yourself in the rich traditions of unforgettable events at Clark Atlanta University is what they strive on. Everything from spirited homecoming celebrations, empowering cultural showcases, experience the vibrant tapestry of our community, and that community being Clark Atlanta. Transformative power of traditions and events where lifelong connections are forged, right? So again, it goes back to that cultural piece and that connected piece, and you're
Mhm.
gonna establish friendships and for that are gonna, you know, we just shouted out Dwayne Brown. That's over what 30 years.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
When did I meet him?
I think it was sophomore year of school.
I just remember he had on some pink pants. That's all I remember.
um, right, but just thinking about like all those things, the people that you're going to meet and the people that you're going to bond with, and all of that is done through the student activities, wide range of student activities that you can take part of. I know at our university we had the Corojo Modeling Agency
Oh,
that used to put on the
listen,
fashion.
listen. Couldn't tell them they wasn't walking a real runway. Like, yo, you're in Daniel's gymnasium. But listen, shout out because
I was
some
part of
people,
it.
what? Well,
Yeah,
hold on. You were a Corojo model.
I was a Corojo model.
We got to take that offline because I didn't know that. I wanted to be a Corojo. That's the thing. I wanted to be a Corojo model, but
I
it
was a
just didn't work out.
right.
Wow.
The funny thing about being a Corojo model is like you had to go buy all the clothes yourself. Like so, whatever
Yeah.
theme you were in, right? You bought the clothes. Um, yeah, and then you modeled the clothes, right? But I was a Corojo model for 2 years.
Wow.
And that's when I also had
Yeah,
dreads.
I see you. I just got a whole different image of you right
So
now.
hence why I probably have that
Here we
matching
go.
that.
Now it just kicks it. Now it all makes sense.
Right.
Now it all makes sense.
But back to the campus life. So immersing yourself in the arts and culture, right? That the campus provides. From captivating art exhibits to vibrant fashion shows, as we talked about Corojo,
Mm-hmm.
and dynamic performances. The Clark Atlanta campus is a hub for creative and expressive expression that can help inspire many. And then, dining on campus, right? We had Jones Hall. Shout
That's
out to
right.
who?
Miss Pam, you already
Mr.
know what it is. You already know it's Miss Pam.
Right?
Miss Pam turned a blind eye many times when I had Tupperware and I wasn't supposed to.
Right? So just thinking about the many different places you can eat on campus. Remember, what was the place on Different World that I thought was going to be just like
Was it called the Pit? What
I
was it
think it was
called?
the Pit. Yes,
Yeah,
Mr. Gaines.
yeah, Mr. Gaines.
Yeah, the Pit.
Well,
Right.
Mr. Gaines was making greens and macaroni and cheese. Like,
I
nah.
tell them. Um, yeah. So the Pit, many different dining opportunities on campus. Ours was in Foster Hall.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had Foster Hall.
yeah,
Foster
yeah.
Hall was it.
Yep. And
Then you
so
wanted to venture off campus.
yeah, go to at the time you can go to
The underground.
the
You remember the
underground. I
underground?
do remember the
Listen,
underground,
you paid for eating that, boy.
dude. Yeah. What was the place like right across the street in Ettrick? Ettrick
The
Deli.
Ettrick Deli. Yeah.
Oh, good catfish. Shout out to Ettrick Deli. But yeah, that so thinking about Clark Atlanta, they have many opportunities for you to get engaged. Health and wellness, as we talk about. taking care of oneself. So being able to focus on your social and emotional well
Yep.
being. Um,
There's definitely a, the student athletic area where you can work out, run,
mm-hmm,
get in shape.
yep. And then staying connected and empowered with cutting edge information and technology, right? So again, being part of that um, research and innovation that Clark has to offer. So we'll drop some information in there so that you can get, and if you happen to live in the Atlanta area or close by, take a trip to the campus, right?
Yeah, go check it out.
And see for yourself, right? For all those who may be out of state, schedule a tour. Spring break is coming up for a lot of high schools. That would be a perfect opportunity to go out and visit the campus and just get a feel for it yourself because that's important. You have to make sure that when you walk on that campus, you feel like you belong there. That's it felt that way for me when I walked on our campus. So venture out, take advantage of it, but you know, make sure it is the right place for you. But it sounds like it is with all these different things that they have to offer there.
Hey, listen. I mean, there's a lot of things, but in addition to things that they're offering there, there are a lot of people that have attended Clark Atlanta University. I mean, when you talk about the alumni, that's one thing that makes homecoming special. Everybody loves to come back, but when we're talking about the networking that can be done through the alumni, I mean, Clark Atlanta University has a huge alumni network. I mean, just when you look over some of their alumni, it's almost like a who's who
Mm-hmm.
of famous African Americans. You got Ralph David Abernathy, who of course was a close associate of Martin Luther King Jr. and helped him create the SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. There's James Weldon Johnson, you know, American author, educator, lawyer, diplomat,
Diplomat.
songwriter, diplomat.
Diplomat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cam. Civil rights activist. He is also known for writing the lyrics for Lift Every Voice and Sing. Listen, everybody knows Lift Every Voice and Sing. So that's a super alumni
Yes.
there.
Yes.
There's Pearl Cleage, who's an African American author whose work often centered on African American women that encompasses a lot of different things and aspects of their life. There's Bomani Jones.
Bomani Jones.
You see him on ESPN. He's is a member of the alumni of Clark Atlanta University.
There's one thing that I always take from Bomani Jones that we can use it right here is we're giving you all this information for free 99. That was like he will always say, "I'm just trying to give you information, free 99." Right? We're giving you all this free 99. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Hey, listen, it's all good. Then there's Kenya Barris, who of course is the writer of numerous TV shows. Blackish, which kind of had my household in a headlock. When Blackish came on, everything shut down. In my mind, I kind of was Dre. I just didn't have as many pairs of sneakers.
Boom.
But Kenya Barris, there was so much stuff that was tackled through laughter on that television show. Yep. I mean, everybody remembers the Black History episode that had the roots and the music and the songs. And there's Marva Collins. There's Jackie Reed, who has been a radio personality and journalist on BET Nightly News and the Tom Joyner Morning Show. There's just so many people that have become alumni of the Clark Atlanta University, and you could be next. You could be next.
Yes, you can be a famous alumni. Then Anthony Anderson go to an HBCU? I believe he went to Howard.
He did.
Right?
He went to Howard.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. So again, finding that HBCU family, HBCU love. Shout out. Yeah.
I mean, listen. One thing that always stands out about being in the South is food.
Food.
I'm from the South. I'm from the South. I actually lived in Atlanta in elementary school, and I have a lot of experiences and just memories of doing different things, of going downtown. And one thing that really stuck out in my mind was the varsity hot dogs. The amount of varsity style hot dogs that I consumed as a little fat kid, it was amazing. But the varsity is just that. I mean, to me, that's Atlanta.
Right.
But there's a lot more places better than the varsity. But I love the varsity. Shout out to the varsity. And if you want to send me free franks, I'll take them.
Yep.
You have Pascal's, which is a legendary soul food and historic spot with deep ties to the civil rights movement. You have the Busy Bee Cafe, which is known for its mouth-watering Southern comfort food.
Macaroni and cheese.
Oh, listen.
Baked macaroni and cheese. There's
Stop.
a difference.
I'm eating this. As soon as we finish this, I'm going to get something to eat. Just let you know. So if you see me run off the set, it's because I'm trying to get something to eat. There's the No Mas Cantina, which is a go-to fantastic Mexican cuisine with artesian decor. There's Slutty Vegan. Slutty Vegan, that founder is actually from our area, and they're actually opening a Slutty Vegan in downtown Baltimore, which is coming soon. I believe it opens, I think it's sometime in the spring.
That's what's up.
Hey, listen, I've never been there, but I know that when you go to Atlanta, you wait hours and hours and hours in the line to get to the front. So I can't wait to, get my own Slutty Vegan. Maybe we'll go live in Baltimore one or something like that.
Maybe.
So it's a vegan burger joint. Vegan burgers. From what I hear is when you eat the Slutty Vegan burgers, they're so good you can't tell that you're not actually consuming meat.
That's good.
So we'll see. Like everything, as soon as we finish this and get something to eat, it's happening.
I gotta cook for the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Let's not even go there. My team's not there.
Oh, I cooked for the Super Bowl.
My team's not there. So
mine neither.
We could do a whole episode on food in Atlanta because Atlanta has amazing food. Just check them out. Food is definitely on my mind now, but I think you were going to talk about something else.
Yeah, I love food also. I love to cook. But I wanted to, in the previous segment, we talked about campus life. One of the things that I wanted to highlight was the Office of New Student and Family Programs, right? So basically, it's an office designated and dedicated to ensuring a smooth transition and successful integration for all new students and their family into the university community. It serves as a central hub for resources, support, engagement opportunities designed to enhance the overall collegiate experience. So, again, we talk about HBCUs being a family. Here is a clear cut example of that actually happening and taking place. Um, it's I can't what else what else can we say when it comes to things like that, and just being student focused,
Mm-hmm.
right, and family focused,
More than just a number.
more than just a number.
That's what
right,
HBCUs pride themselves on.
more than just a number. I remember that, right? It's like my professors knew my name. I knew my professor's name. I can go to their office, and it wasn't designated for office hours, or I didn't have to meet with the teacher
The
assistant.
TA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I met with the professor. I remember one of my professors. He would always joke because I had dreadlocks, and he was like, "If you don't get educated, Dr. Williams," he was like,
Yeah.
"If you don't get educated, he'd be like, ho ho ho, off your lock school because they're gonna have you in the military." Oscar Williams, Dr. Oscar Williams, my man. But yeah, so um, and I think that
Yep.
brings us to the
We've
end.
gotten to the end, and I'm getting some food. I'm
Yeah,
about to get something to eat.
yeah, about
About
to
to get
get.
something to eat. All right. So today, what we're doing is pretty much we're wrapping up today's feature, which was Clark Atlanta University. It's clear that CAU is more than just an institution. It's a community. It's a family. It's a launch pad for future leaders. You can also follow us. I know you're here on YouTube, but you can also follow us now on Instagram at What You Wish You Knew About HBCUs. Check us out. We just started it, so we're looking for feedback on our Instagram page. We're just kind of getting it going.
Yeah. So, one of the things that you'll start to see is whenever we're out and about and we're talking about HBCUs, or, we're going to put that on Instagram and create those
Mm-hmm.
reels and have you all continue to follow us. It's all about exposure and highlighting and support. Again, we're no experts by any means on anything. You know, we're two guys who went to college together. Um, you know, worked in the same field, for almost 25 years, and feel like, again, this is just important information that we have. You all are welcome to make whatever decisions you all want to make, attending school and anything like that. But again, my focus is opportunity and access. And if I don't provide, or if we don't provide you with those opportunities and access, then you're being shorthanded and shortchanged, right? But ultimately, the decisions lie with you, and your family, where you want to go to school. We just want to give you some other avenues to possibly go down, and check out. So we hope this episode has given you a deeper appreciation for Clark Atlanta University. Um, right there, um, right here. Um, and go visit Collegiate Lux.
Right, check them out.
Check them out. They have a lot of gear, for Clark Atlanta University. But again, in helping to shape the tomorrow's leaders, be sure to visit cau.edu for more information. And again, get out, if you can, over spring break. Schedule some tours. It's never too early to start that. So freshmen in high school, sophomores, juniors, you should all be doing this right now, getting ahead of the game. Um, you know, we thank you for being a part of this. I do want to highlight one other thing. There is, if you want more information and really want to get an understanding of historically black colleges and universities and build a network, there is a conference coming up, March 25th through 27th in New York. If you go through College Board, it is called the Historically Black Colleges and Universities, HBCU, Advocacy and Access Community. Um, so there you'll get to meet different presidents and provosts and academic leaders from historically black colleges and universities. It is a 3-day event, but we'll drop the information for that in the link. But that would be a perfect opportunity for you to start building those relationships in that network. And the earlier you start doing that, when you go ahead and start applying for those schools, and you can reach out to those individuals that you built a relationship with, it will help, like, that. I don't want to say it's going to give you a leg up, but it's going to be something that is going to be like, oh, I remember you, right? And now, as you're applying for those schools, those people can go back and think about those relationships, that were established at that point. Yeah. So that is
Hey,
it for us. Ant's about to go get
peace.
some
I'm
food.
going to get something to eat.
Some brown stew chicken
Brown stew chicken.
from Judy's Island Grill. Shout out to Judy's.
That's right.
Yeah, oxtails. All right, good. We'll see you on the next episode of What You Wish You Knew
About
about
HBCUs.
HBCU. Later.
Peace.